What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update and third stimulus package update, as well as some related news. We're going to give you the big news, big breaking news on what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says is coming tomorrow, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to give you the details of kind of what that means going forward for the checks in your pocket and this stimulus package, which does include $1,400 stimulus checks for adults, $1,400 stimulus checks for children, $1,400 stimulus checks for adult dependents and college students this time around. That though they're dependents, although they will go to the person who claims them as a dependent. Also included is a $400 per week unemployment extension, although Democratic Senator Joe Manchin seems to be pushing on that now a little bit and now says he wants it to be a $300 per week extension, which is just, yeah, he's just really been a thorn in the side of the Democrats. They really want to take that thorn out and just throw it away because he just keeps coming up with new things to fight on. And first it was the minimum wage, now it's possibly lowering the unemployment extension from $400 per week to $300 per week. In the big scheme of things, the difference there is very minor. But we will see what happens. Also, the $3,000 to $3,600 child tax income credits, which are basically child stimulus checks that will be paid out monthly, $250 to $300 per month per child for the course of a year, do look pretty set. The parliamentarian was ruling on that, and we have not heard anything negative along those lines. I don't see how the parliamentarian could rule that that could not be in this package, because basically the only rule that they have to, that really matters, is does it affect the federal budget? And it does, because if the government is paying out money to children, to their parents, that definitely affects the budget. It's money going out of the federal budget. So it does look like those are pretty much set. The $15 an hour minimum wage, however, is a much, much different story. I'm going to give you all the details of that, what's coming tomorrow in this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on updates on the third stimulus check package and the next stimulus package that has already been announced, called the Build Back Better package. I actually have some breaking news for you on that I will cover in the morning video at 10 a.m. Pretty much good news all around here at this point. So let's jump into the video. Oh, and of course, don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. It's just kind of like the way to tell YouTube that I'm doing a good job for you. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said today that Texas is going to be ending its mask mandate and opening up all businesses 100%, even though this goes against the CDC warnings to not do this just yet, as there's multiple different variants in the United States, and we want to continue the downtrend of cases and deaths. However, we now have at least 2 or 3 different states that are reopening back up completely and not even wanting people to wear masks. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced today that he is ending the statewide mask mandate despite warnings from federal health officials that lifting the virus safety measures now may lead to another spike in cases and deaths. Quote, "It is now time to open Texas 100%, Abbott said to cheers and applause at a restaurant in Lubbock, Texas. Quote, "Everybody who wants to work should have the opportunity, and every business that wants to be open should be open." Under a new executive order that the governor says, quote, rescinds most of the orders he had issued during the pandemic, which is still going on, all businesses will be allowed to open at full capacity starting March 10th. Abbott said in Texas is at the point where statewide mandates are no longer necessary to combat the virus. He says, quote, "To be clear, COVID has not suddenly disappeared," arguing that individuals still have a responsibility to follow health protocols, but yet he's saying that they don't have to wear masks. Quote, "Personal vigilance is to follow the safe standards is still needed to contain COVID. It's just now that state mandates are no longer needed." The chairman of the Texas Democratic Party says, quote, "What Abbott is doing is extraordinarily dangerous. This will kill Texans. Our country's infectious disease specialists have warned that we should not put our guard down even as we make progress towards vaccinations." California Governor Gavin Newsom called the move absolutely reckless. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think that we should open up everything, get everything back open, and no mask mandates at all? Or do you think it should be the exact opposite? Or do you think it should be somewhere in the middle? I personally fall somewhere in the middle. I definitely, as a small business owner myself for many, many years in multiple different businesses, as you know, I'm an Amazon seller, and we have a program that we teach people how to sell on Amazon. And we had a limo and bus business with hundreds of employees throughout the years and all sorts of different businesses. I can definitely see the opening businesses part because small businesses are really struggling and people need to get back to work. But I personally think that they should keep the masks on because, I mean, listen, I don't like wearing masks either, but I wear a mask just to protect myself, protect my 2-year-old son, protect my elderly parents, protect me. I have asthma. So I can understand opening businesses, but I personally wear a mask when I go out. Everybody here around in Northeast Ohio, like you go out, everybody has a mask on in the grocery store. I know it's not like that in a lot of other parts. I have a couple friends in Florida. I've seen some pictures, and man, not a single person where they go in the gym or at a car show. I seen 2 recent pictures, and not a single person had a mask on. So I know it's different in a lot of places in the United States. It's kind of strange how different it could be. Like here, if you go in a grocery store without a mask, people look at you like you're a leper. But in other parts of the country, if you wear a mask, people look at you like you're crazy. And it's kind of weird how we're all in the same country, but yet so differently minded. I guess that's what makes us a great country is that we all have different opinions and somehow maybe kind of learn to work with each other. I don't know. You let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, one of the things not in the third stimulus check package is the eviction ban that is set to expire at the end of this month. Millions of Americans are at risk of possibly losing their homes through eviction process that will end at the end of March, at least at this current point. As you can see here, in the latest COVID stimulus package making its way through Congress, it has been passed in the House, is now at the Senate. I'll get to that here in a second. There's no extension of the national ban on evictions that is set to expire at the end of March. That's because Democrats have chosen to pass the relief bill through a process called budget reconciliation, which sets limits on what they can and cannot include. And as you know, that the eviction process probably does not fall in that category of affecting the federal budget. If the $15 minimum wage doesn't, and that was ruled against by the parliamentarian, well, then the eviction ban probably doesn't either. However, President Biden can extend this through a presidential executive order, and I probably think that he will as we get closer to the month. He'll probably wait for the dust to settle on this package because this package will be passed long before then. So we'll probably see that here in the next week or two would be my expectation. Now on to the big news. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that the vote on the final passage of the Senate bill, the third stimulus check package has passed the House. It is now at the Senate, that they could be voting on this as early as tomorrow, Wednesday. So if you actually might be watching this in the morning. This is the 11 p.m. Eastern time video. I know some people watch this in the morning because if you're on the East Coast, it might be too late for you. This actually could be voted on today.
And he said we need to pass this bill and pass it soon. That's what the American people sent us here to do. And we have to get America the help it needs. We've had the worst healthcare crisis in a century, the worst economic crisis in 75 years, and we need to deliver. We're on track to send the American Rescue Plan to the President's desk before the expiration of the enhanced unemployment benefit, which occurs on March 14th. We could take it up as soon as tomorrow.
So yeah, the Senate could vote on this bill as early as tomorrow or today if you're watching this in the morning. There's several different things that could happen or are going to happen. So number one, they're going to have some floor debates where they're going to basically debate this. They give time to the Democrats and the Republicans to debate this, but really nothing ever really happens out of that. They debate it, and well, it's basically Republicans saying they don't want to pass this bill. It shouldn't be passed. There's too much junk in it, and it doesn't help, and blah, blah, blah. And Democrats are saying, but it does help. It's great for everybody. We need to pass it now, blah, blah, blah. The other thing that they will go through is an amendment process, okay? And mostly this is going to be the same thing. We're going to have Republicans trying to make amendments. We've seen this before, and the Democrats are going to just say no to every Republican amendment, even if it possibly makes sense, because it just delays the bill. And, well, Democrats have control. If the Republicans had control, it would be a different story. Republicans have done this in the past when Republicans control the Senate, and it's just kind of whoever's in power, they just kind of don't pass the amendments on the other side, which is, I mean, it is what it is, but these amendments would delay things, okay? So just keep that in mind. I know everybody doesn't want this to be delayed anymore. But what will happen is the possible amendment on the $15 an hour minimum wage. At this point, it still has not yet been decided whether or not they're going to try to pass it with the minimum wage at this point. We've been hearing a lot of negative press on the $15 an hour minimum wage being taken out. Negative as in it will be taken out. That's probably the most likely scenario at this point, but we have a lot of Democrats pushing to keep it in. We have Senator Bernie Sanders, who is considered Joe Biden's right-hand man, really, really, really pushing to keep this in. He's actually going to possibly call a floor vote to just vote on it with the bill as is. And if that passes, it literally could pass right then and there with the minimum wage in there. But the problem is that we don't know if Senator Joe Manchin is going to vote for it or Kirsten Sinema. So in which case they say no, this could go to a vote in the Senate with the $15 an hour minimum wage in there. If one Democrat says no, then they're going to have to basically probably take it out, which is not that big of a deal. At least everybody's cards will be on the table, and we'll know, okay, well, we couldn't pass it with the minimum wage in there, so we're going to take that out, and we're going to basically pass it without the minimum wage. That really won't delay things that much. Little delay, couple hours, something like that. But we have several things that could happen. They could vote on this with the minimum wage. It could pass. We have this voting. They could vote on it without the minimum wage. It could pass. We also are going to possibly see some amendments, which are probably not going to. They're just not going to do the amendments at this point. The only amendment that they're probably going to do is the minimum wage, taking it out. I don't know if there's really a possibility at this point of negotiating it. I think if they're going to negotiate the minimum wage down, possibly to a $10 or $11 an hour minimum wage, then I think that that's probably going to come after this bill. After they pass this third stimulus check bill, there's multiple different things that are going to come on the horizon. Number one, the minimum wage bill as a standalone bill. They'll need Republican support to pass that. Republicans have already come up with a counter proposal for $10 an hour. And Joe Manchin said he's in favor of $11 an hour. So my guess is Democrats want to do this. They won't be happy to not pass it at 15, but they're going to have to make it a compromise. And if they go to $10 or $11 an hour, that's still a lot better than $7.25. The other things we're going to see, along with the next stimulus package called the Build Back Better package, which has already been announced at $2 to $3 trillion. I actually got some really big news on that one that we're going to cover in the morning video at 10 a.m. Eastern. So again, make sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon so you get notifications after subscribing. But we're also going to see a lot of movement after the dust settles of this package, because remember, they're not throwing things in this package now, and because it's too much. Like, they just need to pass it as is, maybe take out what they need to pass it. Then they're going to work on the next package, and they're also going to be working on the $10,000 of student loan forgiveness. That's going to be a very big thing after this. Possibly the Social Security increases of $200 per month. What Biden campaigned on, $200 per month increase for Social Security, SSI, SSDI, 20% more for widows and widowers, 5% more for people that have been on Social Security for over 20 years, as well as the $10,000 of student loan forgiveness, which President Biden says he is in favor of. I actually expect that to pass. The real question is, how do they pass it? Do they pass it in a package without Republican support? Will they put it in the Build Back Better package, which is going to be mostly known as an infrastructure package? But a lot of people consider Social Security and student loan forgiveness part of the infrastructure of America because it's what tens and tens of millions of people are on. Social Security is literally the living money for millions of Americans. Student loan forgiveness is part of the process of going to school and getting a job here in the country. So they could include either one of those in the next package or as standalone bills. Chuck Schumer says that the student loan forgiveness simply can be done through a presidential executive order. But again, none of this will happen until the dust settles and they pass this bill in the Senate and Joe Biden signs it and everybody can like refocus on now what's at hand. So once the third stimulus check package is passed, the dust will settle and they'll be like, all right, cool. We're already working on the fourth stimulus package. That's already being worked on in the background. They got subcommittees and groups of people that are working on that and writing on that. And those people that they're not involved in the third stimulus check. It's already passed the House. So those people are just they're working on the next one. Okay, they're not like the Senate's working on the third stimulus check package. So the people in the House are working on the fourth one, which is good because we know these things take time. We don't want the next one to take 6 months. We want it to be passed as soon as possible. So let them work on it. And then also, we'll probably have a lot of workings on the Social Security um, increase, the student loan forgiveness. We'll have all this other buckets of money that are going to be coming from the third stimulus package. The money for mortgage assistance, rental assistance, utility assistance, property tax assistance. There's over $30 billion that's just for that stuff that goes directly to you. $30 billion. It's more than $30 billion, but they have it all in like different buckets of different amounts in there. It's over $30 billion. I'll be helping you guys how to claim that. But the other thing is there's also $350 billion, which is 10 times more, going to states and cities. We will see a lot of state and county-wide stimulus checks and stimulus programs, like we just seen the $600 stimulus check for California low income people from California and Maryland, $300 for individuals and $500 checks for families in Maryland. And small businesses, and we're gonna see even more mortgage and rental assistance on state and local county levels. That'll be coming around. We're gonna call it the fourth bucket of money, mortgage, rental assistance, and checks, because right now, there's a second round of that going out from the second stimulus check. Okay, mortgage and rental assistance. There's a third round, that $30 billion for mortgage and rental assistance. Then the fourth round will be the money that's come from the third package, but it goes to the states and cities. And then the states and cities, after a few weeks, will decide to basically give some of that money back to their residents, as California just did and Maryland just did. And we've seen programs before, like Orange County, Florida, did $1,000 stimulus checks 3 different times to their residents. We had that $335 North Carolina stimulus check for people with children. We had one in North Dakota. We had all sorts of things. And then we had a lot of state rental assistance and utility assistance and property tax assistance programs going, because all these states are going to get billions and billions of dollars, and they'll take a percentage of that and they'll use it for all those programs. So the other ones will go to like fire and police and infrastructure and paying the payroll of people that work for the city and all those different things. So they take a percentage and they send all different percentages to all the different things they have to pay for, and some of that money will be stimulus checks to you guys, mortgage and rental assistance, and all those different programs. So I will keep you up to date with all those things. Don't miss the 10 a.m. video. It's going to be a good one. Make sure to subscribe down below. Share this video with your family and friends so that they know about these programs too. I will keep you updated. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, which me and my wife do. And we also teach people how to sell products on Amazon and replace their 9-to-5 income. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.